Hello, Internet, and welcome to the Scroll Free Life episode 26, I guess? I don't know. We wanted to do something special to commemorate the 6-month mark. So for me, that meant dressing up like a dragon and hanging out with my only friend and doing an Ask Me Anything. So here we go. Steven asks, what is the most important feature of the smartphone that you miss daily? The maps. I've actually gotten very good at offline navigation. However, I will say this, I'm a very anxious individual. So if I'm trying to get somewhere, if I'm on a deadline, if I'm usually it's me traveling across the country and going somewhere for my book tour, places I've never been before. I get anxious, what happens if something goes wrong? I kind of miss having the luxury of having the phone, just plugging it in and knowing it'll take me to where I need to go. Brian asked, what are your days like in contrast to before? I had a mobile game that I used to play on my smartphone. I was a good player, by the way. So in my heyday, I would be on that game for hours. I miss my teammates. I miss the people I met online in this game, but I have regained so much more time now just not playing this game. That's been one of actually the great things about this challenge is that I can actually focus on writing and I can be productive. I don't have to be, sitting there hunched over looking at this screen, stressing out about this game. That is the biggest difference in my daily schedule. Rachel asks, what's it like to wear a watch that only tells the time? Well, dragons don't wear watches, first of all. Second of all, my new dumb phone actually does tell the time. If you check that out, can you see it? Yeah, there it is. See, it tells the time. Third of all, time isn't real. But in all seriousness, I've never worn a watch. I do have the phone. I can still use the computer. Every computer has a clock on it. I'm either at work, at the office, and I know what time it is because I'm just counting down the minutes till 5 p.m. Or I'm at home and time is immaterial because all I'm doing is my own work. So, if I wake up at noon and go to bed at 4 a.m. and I've edited 72 pages of my manuscript that day, GG, that's what's up. Loretta asks, has your life improved since your smartphone ban? And the answer to that is, it absolutely has. I am still on social media sites through the desktop computer, but social media has kind of turned into a handheld scrolling thing. Instagram, for example, is very much designed to be used on a phone. It's not really made for desktop. I've found workarounds so that I can continue to exist on Instagram because as an author I have to have a presence online, but it's so kludgy and it's so annoying and it's so I don't even want to be on Instagram. I post, I do my business, and I get out. And that's fantastic because I used to love just sitting around and scrolling on Instagram for hours on end, wasting my life. So being off social media has done good things for me, really. There's always that fear that you could be doing something more on Twitter to gain more followers, but at this point, I'm honestly just I don't care. I don't care. If people unfollow me on Twitter because I'm not posting my thoughts every day, I don't care. If my community suffers a little bit because I'm not on Twitter and Instagram 24/7 and liking people's posts, I don't care. There are better things I'm doing with my time now, and I like that I'm not on social media so much anymore. I do a lot more reading now, which is fantastic. My life has improved a lot since having given it up. Chris asks, how do you feel going 6 months without telemarketers calling you? Well, whoever had this number before me was an incredibly interesting person. They're on a number of telemarketing lists. Once or twice I picked it up out of idle curiosity and it was congratulations, you've won a cruise. So I block those numbers. Also, I get a lot of texts from Korean, I think this is Korean numbers. So this number hasn't texted me since February. It's a +82 number. Then I got another one just the other day. Don't know what that says, but maybe somebody out there can tell me, was this guy part of the Korean mafia? I don't know. Then I got a text from a 516 number, and then I was like, hey, who is this? Didn't save any contacts from the old phone. This person writes, I got your number from Camp Integrity. And I write, I think you're probably looking for whoever had this number before me, because I don't have any integrity. And this person is just okay. Oh, Ferrari of Manhasset used to call this number a lot. Definitely, the mob story checks out then, because that's how you get the money to buy a Ferrari. Lynn asks, I know you miss your gaming fam. When the year is over, will you remain phone-free? Or do you feel this experience has given you the self-discipline to use a smartphone more sparingly? That's the big question. I had a honeymoon phase right at the beginning of the contest where I was like, this is great. I love being without the smartphone, never going back. Then I had a few months of doing real world things and traveling around and, having to drive places. And it kind of illustrated to me, yes, the technology does have its uses, especially for a person like me. I'm a small business owner. I'm doing book tour things. A phone would absolutely be useful for that. But now I've kind of come full circle and now I've been in it for a minute. The answer very definitively is I will not go back to smartphone use. The reason being I am much more productive this way, and I just know if I had the technology in my hand, I don't have any willpower. I'm gonna fall right back into bad habits if I have it. I'm gonna go right back to abusing the technology the way I did. I will start wasting my time on social media up until 4:30 in the morning in my bed scrolling through memes like I used to do. I mean, it was not good. Maybe it might be that for business purposes and travel purposes, I actually need a smartphone at some point. But in my mind, I don't want to go back. I don't want the technology in my life anymore. I think I am better off without it. Quentin has asked a two-part question. First, is your non-smartphone prepaid solo contract for just you only without any family members added? Second, if you're on a contract, are you also paying for your smartphone's contract even though it's not being used/touched for a full year? To answer the first question, this is my dumb phone. It's just me. I'm the only one on it. Second, am I paying for my smartphone's contract even though it's not being used? Hell no. I canceled that shit. Beth asks, did you find that you communicated more or less with others during the smartphone ban? That's hard to say, because I'm not stellar at communication, even in the best of circumstances. For me, it's not just a smartphone detox, it's kind of like an all-around phone detox. Very few people have this number. I give it out extremely sparingly because it's a keypad. It's like impossible to text on this thing, so I'm not trying to sit here and be like, if I have to write hi, I have to press 4 several times, and it's just a time suck. I've communicated far less with people electronically. From a real-world standpoint, yes. Quantifiably, yes, because here it is. What I used to do was if I went out to dinner with my family or family friends, I'd sit on the phone and I wouldn't communicate. Now, I am forced to be present and to engage in conversation. I'm communicating more with other human beings. It's crazy. Margaret asks, without your smartphone, how has your relationship with other people changed? How has your time management changed as well? So this is kind of following from the previous question. We have established that I am actually communicating more with people. I am making conscious efforts to repair certain relationships in my life that I might have let fall by the wayside over the past few years. It kind of was illuminated for me when I started being more present at meals and at parties, having noticed the behaviors in myself and also observed it now in other people. I'm making attempts to be better to my friends, to my family, to be more present, to be more engaged, to improve relationships with others. As for time management, a person like me is not great at time management, no matter whether I have a smartphone or not. I have absolutely been more productive without the phone. If I go out to write, instead of settling down, getting a coffee, and then spending 4 hours on my phone playing my game, why did I even go out? I'll actually go out and I'll do work. Same thing at home. I have nothing to do in the evenings, I'll just work on the book. I wouldn't necessarily even call that good time management because you really have to set some time aside to relax and be away from work. And I don't really know how to do that. Maybe with my prize money, I'll buy myself some therapy sessions. So, does that answer your question? I don't know. Willow asks, should all of society go back to living without smartphones? Sure, it's great. Actually. And I think you can learn to appreciate things more without it. At least I have. And if I can change, anyone can change. Let me tell you that right now, because if I can learn to be a better person, I think anyone can. And I think anyone's life can be improved without use of smartphones. Will it happen? No, it will not. That's our 6-month vlog. Thank you guys, everyone who wrote in questions and was interested in my life and wanted to ask me things. I will see you next week. We're going up to Maine. We're gonna do some more book tour events, New Hampshire, Connecticut, all that jazz. We're gonna start work finally on the audiobook of Dragon Speaker, and maybe also Dragon Child, and maybe also Dragon Blood. I don't know, it depends how industrious I am. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sending in your questions. I will see you next time, and until then, stay off those phones. Medusa, stop. You're wrecking my vibe.